Hello, it's November, and that means that it's still good time to plant spring flowering bulbs. I live in the Netherlands, where spring bulbs are very popular and widely available. We have lots of different sorts to choose from, and I would like to show you a planting that I do in this tub. I normally use it in during the summer. I use it for different kinds of vegetable polycultures, but these are finished now, so I can use it to plant spring bulbs. And by planting different kinds in layers, which is called bulb lasagne, I can have them flowering. I can have the tub flowering from about March till May. The tub is 70 centimeters, which is about 28 inches by 55, which is 22 inches, and 30 centimeters deep, which is 12. Thank you. 12 inches, and the depth is very, very important if you want to plant different layers. 12 inches is the minimum you need to be able to plant 3 layers. Drainage is very important when it comes to bulbs, which is why we drilled holes in the bottom of the tub and we put in a layer of stones, which I cover with woven landscape fabric, and that separates the stones from my potting mix and they don't get mixed up. I start with a layer about 5 centimeters, which is 2 inches of potting mix, and that's my homemade potting mix, to which I add lots of compost from our wormery, and every year I recycle this potting mix and again upgrade it by adding new compost. I also add some sand, builder sand, to improve the structure and drainage. The first layer are the bulbs that will be flowering as last, and then the top layer will be the crocuses, which flower as first. So my first layer are tulips. I have 20 bulbs for this size of this container, so if you were planting a smaller pot then you would have to reduce the number. The sort that I'm planting is called white triumphator, which is a lily flowered white tulip and one of my favorites. And I'm putting the bulbs all over the container. They should not be touching each other, but they should also not be too close to the sides, because then there is a bigger chance that they will freeze in the winter. I'll cover the tulip bulbs. Will be covered in a new layer of potting mix, so they're completely invisible. My second layer are daffodils, and the ones that I'm planting are called Sir Winston Churchill. They're double flowered and beautifully scented, and I have 12 bulbs for my container. So again, I'm spreading them all over. They should not be touching and they should not be too close to the sides. And again, I'm covering the bulbs with a layer of my potting mix until they're completely covered. My final layer will be crocuses, which are the bulbs that will be flowering as first in the spring. These are the smallest bulbs, so I have the most of them. I have in total 50, and there are 2 different kinds. One is called Vanguard and the other one is called Flower Record. Vanguard flowers is pale purple and Flower Record is darker. Vanguard flowers a bit earlier, so there will also be longer period of bloom because I'm planting 2 kinds instead of just one. And again, I'll be just randomly putting them all over the pot. Now I'll cover the crocus bulbs with a final layer of potting mix, about 5 centimeters, 2 inches, to cover the bulbs, and I'll put a mulch on top. I'm mulching the pot with a layer of cocoa shells, and these will protect the soil in the winter. They also help suppress weeds, because sometimes there are some weed seeds in my compost. and also they will keep it, they will prevent evaporation. Now I will put the tub in a sheltered spot against the house so that it does not freeze, but usually the winters we've had, the last couple of winters we've had were pretty mild, so it should not be a problem. If it freezes, you can also, if it freezes hard, then you can also protect the tub with bubble wrap, for example. You have to check it so that it does not dry out, but we normally get enough rain so that it's not a problem. And in the spring, when the bulbs start growing, I'll put the tub in a spot where we can enjoy it close to our back door. And I will of course water it regularly and also give it some plant feed. We usually use the one from the warmery, mix it in with the water. And when the bulbs are finished flowering and the leaves die down, I will take the bulbs out, plant them in our backyard, which means we get more and more bulbs every year in the yard, and then I'll use the tub for another flower, for some vegetable polyculture. I have not decided yet what I'll be growing next year. So, till spring.